Okay, if you clicked on the video, you already know what it's about, so I'm not going to waste your time explaining that. But I am going to jump right into the video. This video's been a while coming. I planning to do it, and don't do it, planning to do it, and then don't do it, putting it off for one reason or another. So I threw it together today. I actually tried it once before. Just a little bit ago, got interrupted. Which is actually kind of a good thing because I was kind of unprepared. I was prepared, but I wasn't all the way prepared, and I found a few holes that I was able to go in and look a couple things up real quick. So we're going to try it again. By the way, the shirt, didn't plan on it. Just happened to be the shirt I was wearing today. Yesterday I was also wearing a Star Wars shirt. I wear a Star Wars shirt a lot, actually, but not every day. So it could have been one of the days I didn't. So it just happened to be a lucky coincidence as I was doing a Midi-Cholorians Star Wars thing. I also happened to be wearing a Star Wars shirt that I got from Celebration Orlando, the last one. Maybe the last one, even. Who knows? So, we're going to get into why Midi-Cholorians are not a bad thing. They're actually not anything. Not a good thing, not a bad thing. They're nothing. They're not any worse than saying, oh my god, you totally ruined Star Wars. Qui-Gon's got skin. He's got skin. Nope. Because skin reacts with his body reacts with the Force. Oh my god. The skin is the Force. Come on, give me a break, dude. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to be the thirsty guy. There's someone's going to do a montage of me just drinking the whole time. Like, this guy's an idiot, he just drinks everything. Anyways, so what I'm going to do is, first, before I do anything else, because I think this sets the stage, I'm going to read the transcript I wrote out from the actual scene in the movie. Went on YouTube, I just looked up the scene. I have the video, I probably have it 3 different times, that video. But rather than just look it up and get to the part and play it transcribed, I just looked up on YouTube real quick. So I don't even remember who posted it, but thanks for posting that. It allowed me to do this transcript. I also have that book. It's the, you can see what it is. Illustrated, no, I guess you can't because my finger's on it. Illustrated screenplay. So, I'm going to read from this as well, but this was published before the movie was made, I believe, because it's different. Not 100% different, but I think it's different enough that you need to hear it, even though it doesn't factor a huge amount into the discussion here. Alright, so we're going to start with a line from Qui-Gon that I think is important. We're going to end with the last important line. There's going to be more to it. There's more to the scene. It's not important to the Midi-Cholorians, which is what we're talking about. We're not talking about Star Wars. We're not talking about the Force. We're not about any of it. All we're talking about is the Midi-Cholorians today and why you shouldn't give a crap. And when I say that, again, I mean not you shouldn't give a crap, so stop talking about blah. I mean you shouldn't give a crap in that it shouldn't ruin your experience of Star Wars because the Midi-Cholorians are in it. That's just dumb. I'm not saying it's dumb for you to have felt that way, because I totally felt it the same way. Maybe not as much as other people. I was kind of like, whatever. Not good, but I don't care. Most people are like, oh my god, it ruined my childhood. For me, it didn't. And I saw the original trilogy in theater, so I was like, you didn't see the original Star? Yeah, I did. Man, I was little. I barely remember it, but I did see it. Been a fan since way back then. Anyways, let's get into this so we can talk about this and we can actually get to the point of the video rather than me convincing you why you should watch the video, I guess is what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing. So, Qui-Gon. Always remember, your focus determines your reality. Master, sir, I heard Yoda talking about Midi-Cholorians. I've been wondering, what are Midi-Cholorians? Midi-Cholorians are a microscopic life form that resides within all living cells. They live inside me? Inside your cells. And we are symbiotes with them. Symbiotes? Life forms living together for mutual advantage. Without the Midi-Cholorians, life could not exist, and we would have no knowledge of the Force. They continuously speak to us, telling us the will of the Force. When you quiet your mind, you'll hear them speaking to you. And that's the last one. He goes on. Anakin's like, I don't understand. He's like, with time and training you will, but that's not as important to the Midi-Cholorians part. That's more if we were discussing the Force as a whole, which again could be another video, but it's not this one. Now, And one thing real quick. Why is this even important? Why should you do a video now? Who gives a crap? Midi-Cholorians have been out for like 5,000 years. The reason is because with the new movies coming out, it generates a lot of talk about the prequels and comparatively how they are in the Star Wars saga. And any talk of the prequels is gonna have talk about the Midi-Cholorians, and everybody's like, and there's a video like he's the old step uncle in the corner, or real uncle, whatever he is, drinking and trying to touch all of his cousins, and nieces and nephews, and like, just, stay away from that guy. It's like, he's not gonna kill anybody. He's okay as long as you stay away from him. He's fine. He's a bit of racist, but he's fine. He's never actually started a fire or anything. Just don't really talk about him. Don't really go over there. Otherwise, it's okay. So, that's what this video is for, to stop that perception of Midi-Cholorians, which is just, I don't think probably shouldn't say it's dumb. It's not really dumb to have the perception. It's false, is what it is. It is false. And I'm explaining in this video why it's false, not why it's dumb, why it's false. And you can go, well, you didn't, it's not true. It's still, no, it is false. And the video, I think, is going to do a decent job explaining. Anyways, on to this transcript. So we'll read through this. Will I do the same voices? Terrible voices of Qui-Gon and Anakin? Probably, because I enjoy it. So, where are we? Master, sir, I've been wondering, what are Midi-Cholorians? Midi-Cholorians are a microscopic life form that reside within all living cells and communicates with the Force. They live inside me? In your cells. We are symbiotes with the Midi-Cholorians. Symbiotes? Life forms living together for mutual advantage. Without the Midi-Cholorians, life could not exist, and we would have no knowledge of the Force. They continually speak to you, telling you the will of the Force. Now, that last part is pretty much, let's see, life forms living together for mutual advantage, life forms, yeah, so it's pretty much verbatim what's in the script, that last part, that little soliloquy, monologue, little section. The rest of it's a little bit different, but it essentially says the same thing. Getting nitpicky on the words isn't really going to help. Besides, it's not really even what I'm doing. I gotta take a drink. Yeah, I guess if you're playing a drinking game, then everybody takes a drink. Now, all right. So I have 4 points. It's a 4-point presentation. By the way, I don't edit my videos or do anything, not because that's stupid or anything. I guess not practiced enough. I don't know if I could download an app and play with it and do that, but I'm just throwing this video up as is, so in case you're looking for little icons and special things and everything that explains stuff. Maybe in the future I would do that, a different video or something, but not that one. This one's just this. This is me talking about crap. Anyways, so 4 points. Number 1 point is actually number 4 on here, but that's just because I wrote last. Why? Why? No! Right, okay. So this is a real simple one, and it really kind of just wipes the whole board clean. Anyways, if you think about it, because it's like fourth wall break, essentially. Why do Midi-Cholorians exist? They exist for a single reason, and that is to explain that Anakin's special. Anakin is a divergence in the Force. Essentially, he's different. Now again, and this could be a totally another video, but the new movies are just kind of ripping that whole idea apart, and like Anakin's not really special and blah 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 blah. We're not going to that. I'm going into why at this point Midi-Cholorians exist. They exist to tell you that Anakin is different. He's special. I mean, it could have easily been, who was the father? His father was a Gooba Gooba, and everyone's like, oh, Gooba Gooba, who cares now? And of course, people will be like, well, I guess we need a book on Gooba Gooba. So who was Gooba Gooba, and who was Gooba Gooba's father, and who was his father, and all that kind of crap, and we just go on and on. But they didn't go that way, and the way they explained it to us, communicated it narratively, was through the Midi-Cholorians. These just represent Lucas's attempt to explain who Anakin is. So that really kind of cleans up the plate there, but we're not going in, because that's out of canon, that's OOC, out of character, whatever, fourth wall break. We're going to talk about Midi-Cholorians in canon and how you could view them. Because, I mean, you could view it differently. Sure. I think this is probably, if you look at the evidence, the best way to view them, because I think it's the closest to what the truth would be if we were to think of this as an actual living, breathing universe that happened far away, this far, far away, a long time ago. So, the first point in canon of this is, and this is a big one, if you don't follow this point, none of the rest of this is really going to matter to you. You have to follow this point, and that is Qui-Gon's not an expert. He's not a biologist. He's not a scientist. He's a Jedi. And not only that, his specialty is the living force. He's always in the moment. Doesn't give a crap how you explain it. He doesn't give a crap, what's happening scientifically, electromagnetic fields, infrared light. He doesn't care. He's in the moment, feeling the force. He uses the force. He's an expert on it. I mean, you want to know how to use the force, you go to this guy, because he's going to tell you how to feel and live in the force. Awesome. But he's not telling Anakin that at this moment. He's telling Anakin the scientific side of stuff, which he's not. He's not a scientist. He's not a biologist. He's certainly not a microbiologist. This guy is not an expert. So then there's the two paths you could follow. Qui-Gon's lying to Anakin, like, we were all lied in high school about how things work, and then we get to college, and it's like, you know how you were told this in high school? Yeah, it doesn't work that way. And we're like, well, why'd they tell us that? Well, you're idiots, and it was a simpler way to explain it. That's dumb. I don't like that, but let's just say that could be a possibility. He told Anakin this because it was a simpler way to just explain it. However, my thought on it is, that's just the way he understands it. He's heard the explanations. He's talked to the scientists, not in a giant meeting, I want to learn about it. Just hanging out, just, hey, Joe, how was your mission? Blah, blah, blah. And maybe, Buddhist Da or whoever is in the background was explaining, their discovery, their newest Midi-Cholorian discovery or something. He is overhearing, microscope, symbiote, and it's like, I know, now I know, it's the secret. So, that is where I believe Qui-Gon's basically getting his information on this whole thing, and obviously they have the little scanner to tell them about the symbiotes, the Midi-Cholorians. Like, what's their Midi-Cholorian count? Because it's Lucas's way of telling us how powerful a Jedi is, and again, it's really just a narrative device to tell us how special Anakin is. He wants you to know Anakin's the most powerful thing ever in the universe. There can't be a more powerful thing, because it's basically like, how much more golden can gold get? Well, it's 99.9% pure. There really isn't a pure. You can't get 100%, not in our reality. You get maybe there's a weird confluence of events that can make 100% gold for probably half a second or something. But 99.9999% is probably as pure gold as you get. So that's like somebody saying, but I've got pure gold. No, you don't. There is no purer gold than the purest gold that can be made. So anybody who says, but this is more powerful and that's more powerful, Lucas is establishing here, this guy is the most powerful. He's the most powerful there is, the most powerful there's ever been, the most powerful there can be. Like, if there's a ceiling, and there is, this is it. That's the whole purpose of what this is about, and why they even mention it. But Qui-Gon not being an expert is important, because he doesn't know all the ins and outs. He only knows the parts that he knows about to get his point across to, like, the council. Guy's got over 30,000 Midi-Cholorians. Pretty damn good. So he needs to be able to tell them that, and they need to be able to know it, because it informs them of what direction do we want to go with this person. Now, I looked it up on Wikipedia, which is just like the awesomest thing ever, but I looked into this part of it, different, classes or occupations, I think is the word I'm looking for Jedi. So there's, from the ones I saw, there obviously could be more. They just haven't been discussed yet. There's the Master of the Order. That's Yoda, obviously. I don't know how that's just really an occupation. It's more like, that's your job. You're a Jedi Master, but you're whatever. I mean, you understand what I'm saying. It's not like a class of occupation. It's like a one job. There's Guard, There's investigator, there's counselor, and librarian. Again, there's probably a ton others. These are the ones that we pretty much know about in canon. So, the point of that is Qui-Gon's got a specific profession in it. He's a Jedi Knight. He's a Jedi counselor, probably more like, than just a Jedi Knight, because he's not really a combat expert. That's not his thing. Like, was Dooku was more of a combat expert, but he was also like an expert counselor. Like, he was a master diplomat. That's what Qui-Gon did. Or, sorry, Dooku did. Qui-Gon, I think, is more of a peacemaker. He's still like a diplomat, but he's a different kind. He's more of a peacemaker. He wants everybody to get along, be happy, which is not a bad thing, you know. But that's what he does. That's what he's the expert at. He's in the Force. He can teach people that. He's not a scientist. That's really the point. So, moving on. That's, I think, an important point, though. And now we're moving on to the scientific things about what he said and basically why they're hogwash, I guess. So, I did a little bit of digging. There is one substance I found that is pretty much in every single life form on the planet. That is DNA or RNA, which is basically a form of DNA. Other than that, there is no complex, I guess, organism or organelle that's in every single living. At least I couldn't find it when I looked. That's in every. Now there are substances that are in all living cells, but a substance isn't a symbiote. You can't be a symbiote if you're a substance. A symbiote is a complex organism, even if it's small enough to be on a cellular level. Now, Qui-Gon says, without midi-chlorians, life could not exist. But that's bullcrap. If he said there was, like, without oxygen or carbon, life couldn't exist, sure. But he didn't say that. He said this symbiote that does a very specific thing, lives inside your cells, exists in all life. Because if life couldn't exist without it, it has to be in all life. Now, if he's talking about DNA, then essentially it'd be correct, but DNA isn't a symbiote. It's part of your cell. It's actually inherent in the cell. It's not a foreign object that comes in and symbiotes with you. I know, it's like, that's incorrect grammar. I know it is. I kind of did it on purpose. But the point being, there isn't anything that would even qualify in that. So that seems kind of like a dead end right there when he says life could not exist. And I believe that the point that Lucas is even making by telling you that is for all the nerd fans out there. It's like, I'm going to move this object with my mind. You can't. You know why? Because you don't live in their universe. You can't live in their universe because you don't have midi-chlorians. So without those, you can't even be in their universe. Sorry, bud. It's, I think, really his way in this particular explanation of why you would have no knowledge of the Force as well, which is probably the bigger one. To tell all the little nerd guys out there, that includes me, by the way, so I'm not bragging on nerd guys, I'm nerd guys, but this, you know, Lucas has had kind of a divisive relationship with his fans at times. He's telling us all, cool your jets, it's just a movie, you need to enjoy it as that, you're not going to move anything with your mind, move along. I think that's really kind of the point, but we're not even getting into that. That's just sort of a side note on that. There really isn't anything that's in all living life that could be a symbiote that would basically kill us all if it was gone. So he's kind of full of crap there. He's not full of crap in that he's lying. He's full of crap in that he doesn't understand. He's just speaking what he thinks is true, but it's not. So don't quote him and say, oh, that's the way it is, because he said it. One character said it, doesn't make it true. Even if Lucas says it, he said it outside of canon, so it's not actually in the movie, so suck it. Anyways, symbiotes, they are very complex organisms in that they have to be a living organism in and of themselves to be a symbiote. You can't be a strain of hydrogen and call yourself a symbiote. It's not a symbiote. It's a substance. It's a reactive substance. So, I looked up a couple of things. Like cellular symbiotes, they do exist. There are because I didn't know if there are symbiotes that actually live inside of cells. A lot of plants have them, but we're talking about people. There is the enlugens, which is inside of fat cells, I believe it said, in pregnant women. So there is an example there of a symbiote inside of a cell, but it's like a very rare and temporary thing. It's not it doesn't just live in there forever. It's almost more like like positive infection, kind of. So to think that there are these symbiotes in these cells that are these independent living creatures is kind of not possible, really. So let's again go through the Qui-Gon's not an expert thing. And let's say that there is a symbiotic something, whether you want to call it a life form or not. It's in the cells. Let's think of it like if Mars exploded and there was a particular protein chain inside of, Mars that wasn't found nowhere else. It exploded across the, solar system. And then we all got some of it on us, say. And it turned out to be a positive thing. And then it got into our blood, and years and years and years down the road, evolution actually integrated it. So it's really a foreign substance, not even from Earth, but it gives us a symbiotic advantage. Or maybe it's a symbiotic advantage, because when I looked up symbiosis, it says symbiosis, a close association of two different organisms of which some benefit is derived from the association. Now, the more, I say, well known, the one mostly thought of as symbiote is actually mutualism. It says a special type of symbiosis in which both organisms benefit. So symbiosis isn't always beneficial to both organisms. Now, parasitic would be, it would not just benefit one, but actually hurt the other. But it's possible for one to benefit and just not really even affect the other. That would be symbiotic. It's only mutualism if it's beneficial to both. Now, that could be nitpicky, and you can say, yeah, but we're probably talking about that one, which is fine. Thinking about that, because what would their benefit be? Obviously, they're in our body. They're probably getting something extra, maybe a protein that they would be hard pressed to get on their own, or maybe we break down a protein that only gets broken down in our body in a certain way. So they absorb that, and obviously the force, if you will, is our advantage from them. Although probably not true. It's probably something along the lines of, say, and this is just me throwing it out there, it's not necessarily this, but something like this. For example, we can utilize oxygen, maybe, in our cells a little bit better. With these organisms, they have a reactant that actually boosts our usage of oxygen, for example. So they get us a particular protein, which helps them develop and multiply and whatever that they do. I mean, if you have a set count of Midi-Cholorians, how are they multiplying and making more? Maybe just they need to make more to keep going. Like they die, but then they regenerate, like a phoenix or something. But then they do something else, like they create more oxygen in your body, so you're a little bit stronger, faster. It might even be like a 1% difference. Like you're not Superman all of a sudden. But it's beneficial physiologically. But obviously the force is almost more of a byproduct. So let's go with that. Now let's go to the third point. The third point, and this is probably the most important point of why Midi-Cholorians, you shouldn't even worry about it. What are they? Playing a drinking game, by the way. You need to take another drink. So, Midi-Cholorians, they're not the force. All right? They're not. Let me, come on. One more time. Look at my eyes, even though I'm not. The camera's right over there, but looking at the camera is weird because I'm looking on a tablet and this is the screen and that's the camera over there. So look at my eyes even though I'm not looking at yours. I know it's weird. Midi-Cholorians are not the force. Got it? All right. So Stop whining about, well, they ruined the force, now it's microscopic. I know there's a famous robot chicken. The force is just microscopic bacteria in your bloodstream. I get it. It's a farce. It's satirical, but it's trying to hit on the point that people believe midi-chlorians are the force now. You explain the force. It's medical. No, it's not. Midi-chlorians are, again, to reiterate, Qui-Gon, not an expert. All right, not a scientist, not a biologist, not a microbiologist. He's an expert on a living force. These things are an antenna. That's what they are. They're an antenna. So, if you look at your car and say you're like a 90-year-old lady who's never really known anything about science before, and you go, look, an antenna, that thing's got radio. It's like, yes, Grandma, the antenna helps us. No, that's the radio. It's right there. That thing makes radio. There's probably little people and a little tiny ball on the top. It's radio. Then sure, midi-chlorians are the force. But that's not the way it works. The antenna is not a radio signal. It's not an electromagnetic signal or wave at all. It's simply a way to gather that information, to receive the energy and translate it through the transducers and I don't get into that. I mean, I know more about it than, I'm not an expert on radios, but I know more than what's coming out of my mouth right now. But the point is, it comes out of the radio as radio. But it's because radio goes out as radio, not because the antenna makes radio in any way. It's not making it, it is not controlling it, it does not do anything. All midi-chlorians do is act as a sort of antenna to the force. That's it. So, in radio, the bigger, the stronger the antenna, better the signal you're going to get. Does not make you a more powerful radio. It just gives you a better access to the raw data coming from it so that you can then reproduce it in whatever fashion you wish. The more midi-chlorians, the better reception you have to whatever the force is. It's the living thing. But once it is received, you have to have the functionality inside the radio to actually make it do anything. The antenna doesn't do anything. You can have a piece of metal sitting out there, it will still receive the same electromagnetic signals that the antenna will. The problem is what's inside that produces the effect. So stop thinking the midi-chlorians control the force. They do anything with the force. They do nothing. You do. The Jedi does it. Not the midi-chlorians. So stop going, midi-chlorians, you ruined the force. They didn't do anything. So here's, I think, the big rub. Everybody says, without the midi-chlorians, the force is a mystery. We don't know who has it. We don't know who doesn't. How many people you know have a midi-chlorian scanner in your hand anyways? Like, midi-chlorians. I'm looking everywhere. Where's midi-chlorian? That guy's got him. I see. You don't even know. You don't look up at Jerry, you don't look at all the midi-chlorians that guy's got. Most likely, even looking for midi-chlorians, since it's a microbiological entity anyways, it's probably a proprietary Jedi technology. Most people, not saying anybody can develop technology, but most people probably don't even have that technology, nor do they want it. It's like, hey Jerry, did you pick up the midi-chlorian scanner at the market? No, I had to get eggs instead. I couldn't afford it this time. Maybe next time. It's our big dream to have a midi-chlorian scanner. Nobody cares. Nobody's even looking for it. In fact, in the time of Luke, Jedi don't even exist. So why would you even look for a midi-chlorian? Because it doesn't mean anything. It's like, we're looking for, dudes with a second head. Yeah, mutants with a second head. It's like, they're special. They have second head. Everybody look for them. Why? Why would you look for them? Who cares? Doesn't mean anything. Nobody's looking for this stuff, especially in Luke's time. So, in the prequels, they knew about it. They had more scientific understanding of those who were strong in the Force, who exhibited certain features that other people didn't. Now, nowhere in there does it say that midi-chlorians have to exist in this certain amount of numbers originally and that they can't change. We kind of understand that's probably the truth, but nobody says it. And yet a lot of times they say everybody has a little bit of the Force in them, and the midi-chlorians are in everything, apparently, whatever they are. And so anybody can really develop an ability in the Force. How much, of course, and to what extent can be different, but that's really kind of the point. Can they develop it? Can they not? Is it set? What is it? Up for debate. The point is, again, Midi-Cholorians are not a bad thing. They're really kind of meaningless any more than saying Qui-Gon's got skin, oh my god, you ruined the Force. So, if we could really just... I'm sure nobody's going to watch this video. It's on my channel. Nobody even knows about my channel. Regardless. Stop worrying about the Midi-Cholorians. Stop talking about them. Let them bring it up 50 times. I don't care. Because they don't have any actual meaning or effect on this. They're only a narrative device to tell us some people are powerful, some people are not powerful. And in fact, in the new trilogy, they're ripping all that stuff up and throwing it out the window anyways. Nobody even cares. They keep saying they're going new, bold direction. But here's the thing. There's a line from a Megadeth song that says, great nations are built on the bones of the dead. Now, I know that's not their original. He got it from somewhere. I get it. I don't remember where the origin was from. I remember from the Megadeth song, which is why I said it. Great nations built on the bones of the dead. They are trying to build this new Star Wars Disney house on the bones of Lucas's, Star Wars universe. So, the only reason I even bring that up in this video, because like I said, that could be a whole nother video, is because these things that you don't like, they weren't important anyways. They could be important. They could change it. They could alter it. They could explain it more and make it important. But they're trying to bury it anyway. So there really isn't anything else that's going to come out about this that will make it important. So as it stands right now, in existence in canon, it's meaningless. Doesn't mean anything. There's no reason to like or dislike it. Just move on. It's just another line. Alright? If they bring it back, we can discuss it again. Otherwise, who cares? So, again, nobody's going to see this, but I hope somebody communicates to people. The debate should be over. Midi-Cholorians mean nothing. They should have zero effect on your enjoyment or lack thereof of the prequels. Alright? This video has already been over a half hour. I was really originally going to cut it up in about 4 different pieces and have those, but I decided I was just because I don't know how much room I have on this tablet at any one time to record a giant thing. So I'm going to stop the video, I'm going to upload it, nobody's going to watch it, maybe I'll throw it up on my Twitter or something like that and say, hey, everybody who's not going to pay any attention, watch this video. So there you go. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you learned something from it. Hope you understand where I'm coming from. That's probably the most important thing. Just hope you understand where I'm coming from. And if you have questions about what I talked about, if you actually watched the video at all, that's just, I can't believe it. But if you watch it, especially if you got to this point, you watch a 30 freaking minute video, over 30 minutes now. You have questions, you have a discussion, you want to bring it up. If you want to say some stupid crap, I don't really care. You say whatever the hell you want. It doesn't bother me. You say, hey, what's with the whole weird thing in your tooth? No, it's chipped off. Don't worry about it. The point is, I mean, you can mention it if you want. That's all the response you're going to get from me. I don't care what you say in the comment. You can say all the terrible, horrible things you want. You probably will. Whether you have my permission or not, right? The point is, if you want to have a discussion, though, throw it in the comments. We'll have a discussion. We can talk more. If there's another video you're looking for me to, go through and really kind of comb through the lore. I don't go as in depth as a lot of people. They break out all the. I mean, I've read a lot of the books, a lot of the canon. Maybe about half of the new canon. I'm not an expert, but I'm not like a neophyte either. So there are still a lot of things that we can discuss about these, especially when it comes to our opinions on things like the new trilogy and whatnot. So if you, like I said, you want, mention in the comments. We'll talk about it. I'm going to make sure this video doesn't get to 35 minutes. All right? See you later, guys.